take your chalk line and stick it in that notch. That's a little bit short on the edge, but nobody's going to notice that. And then I'm going to chalk the line down here. Don't pull too hard or you'll bend the top shingle. But you do have to have it stiff enough where when you snap it, it doesn't move on you. And then you snap the line. Make sure your chalk line has a lot of chalk in it. When you do that, you have to have a hook blade. Don't try to do this with a straight razor. It will not work. You'll just scrape up your hands and make a mess. There's no. This is how I do it when on a roof that I can actually lay down on. You grab it like this, and this hand has to be tight. You use every muscle in your arm, not just your wrist. You have to grip this tight, or it will slide off. You'll scrape your hands, and you'll have a jagged edge. Always start from the top and go down. If you try to go from the top, from the bottom up, from underneath, it will look all jagged. In the hot summer days, this is easy to cut, like butter. Right now, it's only like 55 degrees, so I have to keep kind of clawing at it to get it to go. But you try to stay on that line. And you save these pieces because you're going to reuse those. Maybe on a roofing contract job, you don't worry about that because you got extra. But when you're doing it yourself, you want to save money, and that's money right there. These shingles are, now you can do this, watch, you break that off right here. That's where the shingles are melted together, so it's thicker right there. These shingles have two thicknesses. There's this double ply and then the single ply. So when you're cutting, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but what are you gonna do? Same thing, I'm gonna break that off. Physically, this is much harder than it looks. This is not fun. Cutting the rake is not fun. But you gotta take your time or you'll wreck everything you've done. It's very difficult to fix it once you've messed it up. You don't wanna, all these are nailed to each other. So if you have to pull a shingle out, you gotta get your pry bar out and everything. You don't wanna do that. Right. This one here is a little tiny bit I have to cut off to stay on the line. I'm not real pleased with that, but gotta do it. So you notice I skip over the center part, because if you don't do that, when this finally breaks through, it jerks forward and you mess this part up. And this is the part that you want as straight as possible. This part you can break off. These are little things that roofers, you watch these roofer videos, they don't tell you this stuff. The physical part is, you have to know how to do it as well. So if you have a few little imperfections, it's not a big deal, but you certainly want that last one to match up with what you've already cut. right now. Last one's, for whatever reason, this one was in the shade and it's cold. It's really hard to cut. Make sure your hook blade is sharp too. This one's getting a little dull now. That's how you cut a rake. These pieces, I'll reuse them somewhere or wherever possible. Oh, let me